Hello, everyone. So I just thought I should share another experience, and I took you guys outside so I can get less, little scenery, um, and cool little noises. I'm right by it. Um, yeah, it's outside. So today, I had church and stuff like that, and it's just interesting, because when God gets ready to use you, sometimes you might notice it in ways that aren't totally out there or totally, exposed. A lot of the times I feel like when God gets ready to use you, um, so I guess I should share my experience. As I've gone through seasons of transition where God is about to use me in a certain way, maybe, more powerfully, I sometimes, or, what I had gone through was a season of underneath growth. And when I say like underneath growth, what I mean is the growth does not always happen on the surface. So if you understand like how a plant grows, you plant the seed, it does not immediately sprout up. The roots grow down first, then you see the growth on top. And in my personal experience, that's how I sense that, oh, God's about to use me. Like there's a lot of underground, stirring and transition, and God's doing something, and just that I'm sensing it, And so, as I've kind of considered that, like recently, as of recent, I met someone today at church, and I was just sharing my experience with them too. And I kid you not, like some of the same exact things that I had gone through are some of the things that he's going through. And it's just so interesting how when God brings someone into your life, like he can use that. And I haven't gone through it completely. Like, okay, I meet someone new, and then I haven't gone years like with those kind of new relationships that God puts in your life. But when God puts something in your life, like that God did that. Just based on the conversation you had and how it happened and where you met and just stuff like that. So the experience, I guess, was just that we shared so many similar experiences that I knew that God was doing this, was doing something. And I shared with him that recently I had been sensing that, like, through my YouTube videos. Like, I just started making YouTube videos as of recent, and that's not when everything started, though. See, because everyone else, you guys see like the not underground part. Like, what you guys don't see was what I had to, the lessons that God had to teach me before He was about to use me, if that makes sense. So, I mean, encouragement, like, God could be getting ready to use you. God could be getting ready to use you. And it's interesting. I was out today, and I was like thinking, oh, like maybe I should do, a food drive or something like that. But I'm gonna switch the topic to like calling, and I want to talk to you about calling killers. Since I feel like I was convicted a little bit sometimes, about what I was doing was wasn't my real calling, and it's almost like, so my experience is like I was doing something, and I felt like God spoke to me like, you're doing something that you're not cut out for. Like, this isn't your calling. And I feel like so many Christians are doing stuff that God's not calling them to do. Since like God shaped you, God has given you spiritual gifts, and some, this person's called to do this and the other person's called to do that. I mean, it's just like sometimes you're not cut out for something, you know what I mean? And you're trying to do something, you're trying to do something that someone else is cut out to do. I mean, so I was just like, just trust that God can use you, what you're doing, where you're at, what He's called you to do. Since He knows how He wants to use you, right? And it's not always what you're thinking, right? It's not always what you're, thinking, or, yeah. So another serious topic. I mean, I touched on calling killers a little bit, but I just want to talk about the calling killer of I'll share my experience. I used to watch a lot of TV, and as I've watched a lot of TV, it's like God can use stuff like that sometimes, but when you're doing something that isn't your calling, it's distracting you. Like if God's calling you to do something and you're doing something else, then that other thing is a distraction. You see, like, for me, I feel like, distractions can kill your calling. They can distract you from your calling. So I hope this is blessing, and I hope you enjoyed this message. So I mean, yeah, God bless.